Wherever you are, get up on your feet and cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, your brand new director, 1 stars.
Huh? Brand new director, 1 star. Congratulations, all directors.
We are so happy to have the opportunity to celebrate all of you.
Indeed. Next up, a very inspirational testimonial.
I'm Adelaide Testimonials, and I'm a director, 1 star. A lot. A really life change, a transformation, I'm going to say. A completely transformation.
How will it get started with CROWD1?
Yes and no. The first obstacle I may say was I wasn't believing in this industry at the time because I'm a traditional business where I believe in working hard and do what you have to do. So when I introduced CROWD1 for me, first I didn't really pay for it. And then the pandemic comes, it was for me a relief because a friend of mine, thank God she didn't ask my permission to just put my information and register me without it. But I think so far that was the great decision someone ever took for me. Because of her today, I changed not just my life and many other people, especially in Africa where I come from. And that was really big. My daily routine completely changed the moment I understood what CROWD1 was, because when they introduced CROWD1 to me, the friend that introduced me to it didn't know much. So it took me 2 weeks to really understand that that is bigger than what she was explaining to me. So I had to go back to her and say, can you know somebody that actually made money with this company because it looked bigger than what you are showing me? And she said, yes. The funny thing is she didn't bring me to her sponsor. She went 4th generation up because no one couldn't take me where she told that I need to be. So she introduced me to the person that became my mentor. And from that moment, it completely really changed. I live in the UK, but I'm a French citizen. I was registered by a French team. I needed to do something where I live because I didn't know how, no slide in English, no presentation to attend in English, and it was on the lockdown. So it became quite a little challenge. But when I choose to do something as a passionate person, I needed to go through it. So I started asking around, and I find an international group, tiny law from that. And I was going in that international group. I was photo shoot the slide. So when there was slide, I was making screenshots. And I decided from that moment to start my own personal Zoom. So I really started immediately. And I've been doing Zoom things for 15 months now. I never stop. I do it every day. And that is really and I mentor this team every single 2 days. And I do the Zoom presentation like employment. As I said, I work with the African community because for the first time, there's an opportunity that allows me to take it back home. Because many opportunities, when I take it back home, when I'm back home in Africa and Cameroon, it's more about using them or making them lose the money they don't have, never give a lot to them. So that's why I help network marketing in that part because of this kind of thing. So with CROWD1, I change a lot of people's lives in my country, and that make me so proud that I'm here.
What is your favorite product? Why?
Favorite product, I'm not going to say one because it's really difficult to choose in our race because each of them have a specific unbeatable ideas behind. Because when we look at our lives, when I'm here from the LiveStream platform where we save a lot of money and we were so happy, I play every day with my children. There's just life challenging me now when it comes to our mixer partner and the planet is now. We understood because a lot of people like to talk about financial freedom. Even me, I used to say that I never want to work for anybody in my life. Since my young age, I try one business and another, and I never make anything out of it. When I was dreaming on financial freedom, that's why I never want to work for somebody until CROWD1 come and teach me what that word really means. So in CROWD1 understood that really means financial freedom is something for you work for a while, but you get that freedom where you can cross the leg and live the rest of your life without worrying about. So in CROWD1, I just see that financial freedom happen already.
Now, we love hearing from CROWD1 members, and one of the best ways of doing so are the testimonials.
But right now, it is time to move on to our next set of achievers.
Once again, stand up in front of your computer or phone screen and let out a cheer for our newest Director 2 stars.
What an amazing achievement. Congratulations to all of you.
Now, next up, we have another testimonial. I'm looking forward to hear more of your insights.
Anshuman Shah. I am from India and I am a President 2-star. CROWD1 means is such an opportunity where we can have everything in one place. So it's like earning, it's like family, it's like culture, it's like everything for me. Everywhere there must be an obstacles, and the obstacles is very simple. A lot of people don't understand what exactly CROWD1 is, and if we try to convince them, there will be a problem. So we never convince them, we just share what CROWD1 is and we show them our way, and we create ourselves as a testimonial to show them our way. My daily routine, I start a day like a beginner's. When I was started CROWD1, the day I was started, I feel same every day, and I feel I can give this opportunity to a lot of people. So my first job is to open up a back office, do all the needful, and start talking with people, start talking with my leaders, and whatever their program and whatever their schedule, we coordinate, and I do every day a lot of new meetings, and it's like it gives me a lot of energy when I feel like it's the beginning of my career in CROWD1. My favorite product is, of course, Planet IX, and I feel that it can change a whole world. I can see a great future, to be very honest. I was in this industry past 22 years, but I never felt this was with me before. Now I can feel that CROWD1 is like a home for me, and it's really changed so many people's lives, and I can see this is just a beginning we have with CROWD1, and we can go more beyond. And whatever the situation is nothing, we can see a great future, and people don't think what we are going to do in the next few years.
It's getting really exciting here in the studio because we're now moving into recognizing our next group of achievers.
I can just imagine how hard this next group has worked. Ladies and gentlemen, your new director, 3 stars.
I know this guy.
I am so honored to welcome our next guest to stage. She is such an inspiration, and she is definitely overcoming adversity and showing exactly what you can achieve when you set your mind to it. She's a true survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, Sharzad Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. So, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Well, or the end, depending on how you see it. But I should warn you, this is not a story about the glass is half full or half empty. This is a story about loss and about suffering. My story is absolute in that way. Originally, I am from Iran. I moved to Sweden together with my family when I was 5 years old. 9 years ago, I was a happy and healthy 28-year-old. I wish that I could tell you that I had a clue, a premonition, or maybe a hint from the universe, but really, I had no idea. If I had known that this day would have been the last day that I could use my feet, I would have done so much more than to hide them in my shoes. I would run, I would dance, I would balance on my toes as ballerinas do. And surely I wouldn't waste my time folding laundry. But really, I had no idea. It began with an unusual stomachache, as if a giant worm was squirming around inside my stomach. A few hours later, I was lying on my deathbed, intubated and anesthetized. My family and friends gathered by my side to say their final goodbyes. The doctors gave me a 5 to 10% chance of survival. I was diagnosed with a very rare and very dangerous form of sepsis. Sepsis is what is, well, it's commonly called blood poisoning. This particular bacteria that I had can be prevented by vaccination. But in my case, this meant that the bacteria somehow found a way through my immune system and multiply rapidly and uncontrollably in my blood. I didn't stand a chance. Miraculously, I survived, but the collapse in my circulation affected mainly my arms and my legs. Initially, the doctors believed that they would have to amputate both of my arms as well, but fortunately they didn't. But they did amputate both of my legs below the knees. Now, I could tell you many stories about loss and about suffering. My story is absolute in that way. I could tell you about the immense pain that I was in and the 53 times I was operated on. I could tell you about the nightmares and the anxiety and that existential crisis that comes with coming so close to and really grasping your mortality. I could tell you about the time I tried to commit suicide. Or I could tell you about the many times that I woke up in the middle of the night and prayed before I felt on my bed sheet, slightly below the knees, to see if there was anything left. I was always disappointed. But I am not going to focus on that. Well, a year later, so here I am still in the ICU, so my situation is still very critical. We know at this point that I am going to survive, but we are not sure about the damage. So will my lungs ever function the way they used to? Would my kidneys recuperate? We didn't know. At this particular moment, though, I am mostly concerned about my right arm. It is so swollen, almost triple in size, and I can't move my arm and I can't move my hand, and not being able to do that causes something that is called contraction. So my arm and hand is frozen in this position. And when I tried to unbend my fingers, they felt like the dried branches of a tree. If you would pull too hard, they would snap. My father, he was told not to try to get in the role of being my physician, since ironically he's an orthopedic surgeon. So he sat by the side of my bed as one of his colleagues came to examine me. And as soon as the doctor came into the room, his whole demeanor changed. He looked at my arm and he said, "Oof, this is much worse than I thought. Your connective tissue is damaged and affected. And then you have these two big wounds, one of them covering your elbow and the other one covering your lower arm. And this will eventually heal, but they will create scars, thick scars, and then you won't be able to do this." And he said, "Can you try to lift your arm for me?" I tried, but nothing happened. In my mind, I was moving my arm, but my body wasn't responding. And every time he touched me, I cringed with pain. Finally, he said, "Shahzad, are you right-handed?" I said, "Yes, I am." Then he said, "Well, you need to try to learn how to make your left arm the dominant one, because as I see it, this arm will never regain its function." What are you talking about? And then, unfortunately, this will also affect your fine motor ability, like holding a pen or writing on the computer. I couldn't believe the words that he was telling me. Desperately, I looked to my father, who had been silent this whole time. And I told him in Farsi, which is our native language, because it was so strange, because he was nodding and then he had this secretive, almost sneaky smile on his face. So I said, "Dad, can't you hear what he's saying? He's saying that this arm is completely useless. He's saying that I can never use it again. Why are you just sitting there? You have to fix this. Please, say something." And my father replied in Farsi, while still nodding and smiling, "Just nod along and agree with him. He knows nothing. He is a complete moron." Puzzled, I did as I was told. And when the doctor left the room, my father turned to me and he uttered those life-changing words. He said, "Shahzad, numerous doctors will come into this room telling you their predictions. They will tell you that you will never be the same, that you won't be able to do this or do that. You will look at them, you will smile, and you will nod. But in your mind you will think, he knows nothing. He knows nothing of what I am capable of, because you can do whatever you put your mind into. You are so much more than you think." I am so thankful to my father for not clipping my wings, because there and then, at one of the lowest points in my life, I was receptive to anything, but he chose to breathe hope and to fuel my spirit. But as you know, you cannot sit around and wish for things. You actually have to do something about it. So I exercised my right arm once every hour. I tried to lift it like this 50 times, and I tried to unbend my elbow 50 times. And my father, he got these, well, they are kind of compression socks, and he pulled 3 of them over my arm while I was screaming in pain. And then he fashioned this glove that somehow slowly unbended my fingers. And look, today, my right arm is still my dominant arm. It works perfectly. So apparently my father was right when he said, he knows nothing. He is a complete moron. 15 months later, my personal trainer, Kajsa, suggested that I should compete in Sweden's largest triathlon competition. What you need to know is that I didn't know how to swim. I have always been terrified of water. I knew nothing about cycling. I've only biked as children do, and I hated running. I decided to grow. And I bet you can imagine what people told me when they found out that I had 11 months to get ready for an Olympic distance triathlon, 1,500 meter swim, 40-kilometer bike, and 10-kilometer run. Charles, is this really a good idea? You have no prior experience. You will collapse on that course. You will embarrass yourself. And my physician said, Shahzad, listen carefully. You need to come to terms with the fact that you are a double amputee and that there are limitations to what you can do. I always reply like this. But in my mind, I thought, you know nothing. I'm going to show you how great I am. And I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for you. It was hell. I pushed my body and my mind to my absolute limit and then some. And during these 11 months, I learned a very valuable lesson. And that is, when you think that you are done, there's still a little bit more. And when you think that you have reached your absolute limit, well, you haven't. In August of 2015, I was on the starting line, afraid, nervous, and I felt so out of place. But it was go time. Should we see how I did? Yay! And, you know, I think when you see this movie clip, and even though I never really uttered the words outside of my circle of trust,
Oma ba biya da ni ne ka.
I had terrible pain while running, and I couldn't run as fast as I needed to in order to be able to qualify for the games. So I did what needed to be done. I asked my doctors to re-amputate my right leg. That was a big price to pay, but I was determined. And the doctors, they were very reluctant. They said that this is not a wise decision to make because there are a lot of risks involved with a very big operation like this, because what if it doesn't get any better? Or what if it gets even worse? As always, I used my magic formula. I nodded and I smiled. And somehow along the way, this was real. It was no longer a rehearsed answer. I started believing. I started believing that I could do whatever I put my mind into, and that everything is possible. I am my own superhero. I repeated these words and I reiterated them to myself over and over and over again until they became an absolute truth. And that is so powerful. I am my own superhero. And in order to never forget or doubt it, and just as a gentle reminder, I had them tattooed on my arms so I could see it if I ever needed to. I am my own superhero. In September of 2016, this weak right arm that would never regain its function, swam in the Atlantic Ocean, all the way to Copacabana Beach. And that person who had lost all of her hope in the future biked the streets of Brazil. And that person who had all of her dreams hijacked in 2012 crossed the finish line as the 7th best para-triathlete in the world. My father was right when he said, he knows nothing. He is a complete moron. Now, what if I told you that you could be whatever you wanted to be? Let's play with that thought, shall we? I am a living testament to what I am about to tell you. 9 years ago, this fate, it could have broken me. It could have scarred my soul in a way that would be impossible to mend. But it didn't. And it's inevitable. I have to quote the Matrix. There is no spoon. And once you realize this, then you'll see that it's not the spoon that bends. It is only yourself. Limitations are only in your mind. I'll say it again. Limitations are only in your mind. Because there isn't only one way of creating a successful life or living your dreams. There isn't one magic formula. However, your mindset, it will make you or it will break you. Success is no accident. Living your dreams is no accident. You have to do it on purpose. And it starts by knowing exactly what it is that you want. Knowing exactly what it is that you want to achieve. Knowing why.
Your mother response.
Hey, yeah.
Your own superhero. Thank you.
That was incredible. I am so inspired. Now, Sharaz is an amazing athlete and an incredible person. Talking about incredible people, now we have another group worthy of celebration. Determination, single-mindedness, and focus. That's what is needed to become a President One Star, and here they are.
Congratulations to all of you. You can all be incredibly proud. Anton, what an achievement.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the amazing Lorraine.
That's what Betonio. That's what Betonio. I'm being on the rain. Jesus.